Oh, that's torturous.
Joe, I'm Joe Wickle. Jean is the one who said Joe. Okay. She'll get down shortly.
Joe, do you know why there's no stairs over here?
It's a mystery. Because it's empty.
I'm guessing they were thinking wheelchairs were gonna go over there.
Well, they usually go over there. They've got all that lined up. Would it be okay if we?
Sure, you could do whatever you'd like. Hi, we have room in the front row over here for volunteers. Hiya, buddy, how are you? Hiya, Mike. Good.
We're seeing the house. Because I'm going to stay in here, and tricks are there.
I haven't heard from her, so I guess it didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to sit closer?
Or go in a chair?
See all his secrets. Okay.
Come on, ladies. Oh, yeah, thank you. You're right. Have a seat somewhere. What are we doing? Wait, where was it? Okay. Hold on.
Joe, do you want a handheld microphone or a lapel? Okay. Hey, I heard you were a big hit. Yes. I know. Do we have you scheduled yet for Christmas?
Yeah, we'll have to set up something.
I'm just saying it out loud while I'm
Do you want to sit
thinking about it.
here? Should I put a
Just
chair
when I
there?
walk away, it'll be gone.
Or you could go down there, whatever you want to do.
Hi, Dave, come on in.
That's good.
make it. There's one seat up front. You wanna go sit there? No? Okay, go ahead, wherever you want.
We should have a department meeting up here and we can go over that stuff.
Yeah, because if you show me now, I won't
Right here?
necessarily remember. Okay.
This is a displayer. And if you hit open and close, not being funny, we have
Oh, okay.
like pure 60s.
All right.
This is number 5, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I know
then
how to
you
do
hit-
those.
Okay.
Why now? I didn't realize that was here, but otherwise I know.
And then all you have to do is just
Switch
press
flag,
play.
yeah.
And then the volume, that's the tricky part. CD, you have to hit the CD player. And then
I wonder if yeah, it might have fell off. No, but it didn't.
okay, I'm sorry. See what happens. Hi Wayne, how are you? Good.
Hello.
Yeah, that was weird. Sometimes, you know, when the disc doesn't work right. But then we just play that. And so,
Can I trouble you for a magic marker?
Yeah, I'll
a
go.
Sharpie or a wipe on, wipe off?
The widest that you have.
But that didn't answer the question. Does it have to be able to be removed or can
No,
it be
it can be
permanent?
permanent.
Okay.
Do you want me to go down to Health and Wellness office? See if they have something.
You don't think Dawn would be? Yeah.
Well, let me go. I'll take care of
Okay,
it.
all right, thank you. No, he doesn't. We asked him. We just put music on for, hi Priscilla, hi guys. Yeah. What? With this? Yeah, and then, just had to make sure, like, CD was on this one. That this one CD. What? Yeah, don't do check me. Well, set up.
I got it from Lori Schaefer.
She'll get it back to you then.
So I'm going to show you.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
This is the back.
Okay.
If you hit, you have to hit watch. Okay, so then we'll hit microphone. You have to hit it, okay? That means all the things coming through the microphone. Okay? You hear it? You don't need to hear it.
Watch, click.
Click. Oh.
I'm going to real quick use the restroom. I'll be ready in 1
That's
minute.
fine, they're still coming
Who's
in.
going to introduce me? Very simply. Just introduce me as Keppel the Magician.
We're an army family. We can still be friends. Hi Priscilla, how are you?
My friends, where were you when this music
And it's
was popular?
Evie,
He
right?
said, in
Joan Wiggle. Boy, I'm glad you came down. Thank you. Joan Wiggle. Like pickle. Wiggle pickle. I had a friend who used to call my kids the little gherkins. Because of pickle wiggle. All right, now, Woody. The magician said something about cutting somebody in half. Should I volunteer you or Priscilla? No. All right, then it's got to be Wade. I'm going to send him up there. Do you need more seats? We're going to do. Okay, because we can put some seats over here. Now, it takes 2
Good.
I'll be right back.
All right. Watch. Should work.
I just moved down to visit my mom.
Who's ready to see some magic? You ready? Woohoo! All right, we're gonna have Keppel the magician entertain us this afternoon. Let's give him a round of applause.
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody today? Great. Including you people up in the cheap seats. My name's Joe Keppel. A lot of stuff to show you today. And in halfway through the show, I'm going to tell you a very unique story that happened here in the Lehigh Valley. You might have heard about that. Was just one of the most amazing things that was involved in my life. They say never start a show with an apology, but I have 2 apologies. Apology number 1. I have a friend who's an inventor. He invents some things I use in my shows. He sent me something recently, and the problem is I forgot to read the instructions. Now, I have gone and lost the instructions. I do not know what this is called. I'm going to show you the few things I discovered by playing around with it. Maybe after the show, somebody can tell me what this is. Now, the only thing I know about this for sure is that it's a long plastic pole with 4 colored pom-poms. There's a green pom-pom, a white pom-pom, a yellow pom-pom, and a blue pom-pom. The only other thing I know for sure is that there is always a long string on one side and a short string on the other side. Remember that. Long string on one side and a short string on the other side. What confuses me is this. I just go and pull the green pom-pom. The green pom-pom was low pom-pom. The yellow pom-pom was the high pom-pom. And when you pull the yellow pom-pom, the yellow pom-pom was low pom-pom. The green pom-pom was the high pom-pom. But remember, there's always a long string on one side and a short string on the other side. What really confuses me is this. I just go and pull the white pom-pom, the yellow pom-pom goes high pom-pom, the green pom-pom goes low pom-pom. And when you pull the blue pom-pom, the green pom-pom is high pom, yellow pom-pom is the low pom-pom. But remember, there's always a long string on one side and a short string on the other side. I did find out how it works, so you see they're all connected. The blue pom-pom's connected to the yellow pom-pom's to the white pom-pom's connected to the green pom-pom's connected to the blue pom-pom, which is now very silly. It's extremely difficult to say. But remember, there's always a long string on one side and a short string on the other side. No one has ever seen 2 long strings of one pom-pom pole at the same time in one day, until today. And what really confuses me about this, I was going to take them apart. They're not even connected. So, like I said later on, if anybody out there can tell me just exactly what this is, why it works, and how I can use it in my program, I hope somebody will let me know. Thank you. Apology number 2. This is a very old magician's trick called a trouble wit. The word trouble, W-I-T, one word, trouble wit. Unless you have seen me somewhere work over the years, you've probably never seen one of these before. These were mainly used by magicians in Europe in the 1800s. I like to take old-fashioned magic tricks, try to modernize and bring up to date. They are paper. Each one lasts about 6 months before they tear at the folds. The problem is, up until January, only one man in the world still made these for magicians. He's in Auckland, New Zealand. He is retired. I cannot get any more. This is my last one. I started using it a couple months ago, and it's one of these things where right when it's broken perfectly, that's when it's starting to wear out. So by the end of the year, I'm going to have to eliminate this from my act because there won't be any more. I call it my book without words. I can hold this in my imagination, pretend it's a bow tie. I can hold this in my imagination, pretend it's an Oriental fan. I can clip at the top and pretend it's a stained glass church window, or clip it here and pretend it is a pancake with non-slip tread, or a placemat. Of course, if we open it one side like this, we can use our imagination and pretend it is now a garden rake, or a back scratcher, or a mushroom. Mushroom walks in the restaurant, sits down, waiter says, "Get out, we don't serve mushrooms here." Mushroom goes, "Why not? I'm a fun guy." Or a flower vase. Of course, if we open up one more side like this, we can use our imagination and pretend it is now a giant staple, or something to go weightlifting with. Of course, if we clip at the bottom, we can use your imagination and pretend it is now a cake pan, or a cake pan with a cake inside of it, or a bathtub, or a bathtub with a cake inside of it. Of course, we open up the third side, we can turn it into a history book. In fact, we'll go back in history about 100 years. And 100 years ago, we will all go hunting for the wild North American duck. Or we go hunting for wild Australian duck. Of course, to catch that duck, how about someone who lived 100 years ago, like Davy Crockett and his coonskin cap? Of course, when he catches that duck, he's going to take it home and cook it in a pot. And naturally, along with dinner, glass of something to drink. And in a quick trip to the late 1970s, launched the last Apollo space capsule. Or Malaysian Airlines. Too soon? If you open it one last time, we can use our imagination. And this is for when you get stronger and need bigger weights. Or you can even have a party hat. Or maybe go outside and play cowboys and Indians. Or an Indian with a cake in it. Ladies and gentlemen, just a little something to show you can do with your imagination, a plain piece of white pleated paper. You know, there are a lot of words in the English language that sound alike but mean different things, like the word to. There's a T-O, there's a T-O-O, there's a T-W-O. Pronounce them all the same, they mean different things. Or the word raise, you can raise a tent, means put it up. But you can raise a building, means tear it down. Sound alike, mean different things. It's the same with the word hole. This is a hole card, H-O-L-E, because it has a hole in it. The second one's a whole card, W-H-O-L-E, it's a whole entire card. Third card's a whole card, fourth card's a whole card, I've got whole cards, I've got whole cards. Now the whole cards are white on this side, whereas the whole cards are red on this side. Over here I have the same thing, a whole card that is white and a whole card that is red on one side. Now if I had never shown you that whole, but brought these out, squared up as one and gave you a look, it looks like a whole card with a dot in the middle. Same with these two. I'll give you a quick look. It looks like a whole card with a dot in the middle. Oh, but you see that card right there? That card right there really is a whole card with a dot in the middle. This one here, of course, is a whole card with a lot of dots in the middle. Over here, you remember the dots, the whole card. It's this one that confuses me. I can never remember this is a whole card with a dot or a dot card with a hole. You know what the problem is, this entire trick? You all been looking at the dots, not the hole. Thank you. Babette, I have here a little cloth bag. It's blue with ladybugs in the outside, and it's red on the inside. So what color's the bag?
Red and blue.
It's actually red on the outside, Babette, and it is light blue with a leaf pattern on the inside. So, Babette, what color's the bag? Red on the
Red,
outside and
blue, with the leaf.
oh my God, it's actually blue with leaves on the outside, and it has a rainbow pattern on the inside. So, Babette, what color's the bag? On the outside and
Rainbow.
almost got Babette. It's actually rainbow on the outside. It's got a paisley on it. You know, we're going to the second part of this test. It's an anatomy lesson.
Okay.
Now, Babette, it's not human anatomy. It is rope anatomy. Tell me, Babette, do you know the main bodily parts of a rope? Ends, two of them, one on each. This is my friend Julius. Julius Scissors. Julius, yeah. Babette, if I cut this off the rope, now the rope only has one end. If I cut this end off, the rope doesn't have any ends anymore because they're laying on the floor. Sounds silly, doesn't it? Babette, if you cut the ends off a rope, what's left over? The middle, the middle. Look, if I bring the middle to the top and cut the middle out, Babette, the rope now has no middle. But what do you get when you cut the middle out of a rope? Two new ends.
Right.
Two ropes. Babette, if I cut this doing like this and throw this in. Are you watching this? You're not watching this. I'm going to take a rope. Babette, you know where I got this rope? This rope was walking down this street. I just come out of the same restaurant the musher was at earlier. The waiter said, ropes can't come in here either. The rope said, I'm famous. I'll disguise myself. The waiter won't recognize me. He said, I'll tie myself up like this. I'll fray at my ends. He won't know who I am. So this is how he did it, Babette. First of all, he tied himself up just like this. Secondly, he frayed up his ends just like this. He walked back in the restaurant. The waiter looked at him and said, you don't fool me. He said, you're a rope, aren't you? Rope, no. Frayed not. Frayed. Babette, if I gave you the rope and said cut it in half, it's simple. You find a center and cut it. But what would you do if I said quick? Cut it into 3 pieces the same length. You didn't bring a ruler along, did you?
No.
You hold the upper end like this. You bring the lower end up, loop it around your thumb and pull towards near the bottom. Now, Babette, if I take the scissors and cut upper loop, that gives me 3 ends, 6 ends. That's your rope cutting lesson for today. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3, all the same length. Babette, do me a favor. Cup your hands. You don't let anybody get them. Guard them with your life. I'm going to do a trick today with just 1 rope. Since they're all the same length, Babette, I can use any one you give me. So pick out 1. Just pick out 1 rope for me. That one? In fact, we'll be brave today. We use 2. Let me have 1 more. This one? Babette, you broke my ropes. I never came and broke. Here, fix them. Do you know how to fix them?
No.
Then why are you reaching for them? Babette, take the little one. Pull it. Does that get big, stretch or get bigger?
No.
No, solid, solid. 3 ends even at the top. If I bring up this end, it makes 4. Oh, I must admit, this is not original with me. I learned this trick from a midget mind reader. Midget mind reader. The poor guy's always in trouble with the police. Last time he escaped from jail, the newspaper headline read, short, medium, at large. Look, 3 ends even at the top. You bring up this end, it makes 4 ends even. 5 ends even. 6 ends even. Babette, since the ends are even, it means the ropes are all the same length again, right? That's right, 3 ends each end, just like that. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3.
Oh my God.
And don't tell anybody how we did that. They're going to give you a big hand while you go sit down. Thanks so much. You might have to forgive me on this. This was a part of my old, when I was doing school assemblies, I used to say that what I did with the rope is sleight of hand. This is sleight of mine. I used to do a magic show about books called Turn Off the TV and Read. Did about 4,000 elementary schools. So that market's kind of dead right now, man. So I haven't done this very often. So not as quick as I used to be, and sometimes I miss it. But it's one of my favorite pieces. Do me a favor, please. Think of a number between 40 and 100, but don't call it out. Keep it in your mind. While he's thinking of that number, I'm going to draw a square in this pad. I'm going to divide it into 16 smaller squares. Are you thinking of a number? Call it out. 65. He can choose any number. For him, it's 65. Let's see if I can do this. That'd be an 8, a 1, a 5, a 4, a 3, a 9, a 2, a 7, a 6, a 10, a 12, an 11, a 45, a 44, a 46, and a 47. 44, 47, 57, 65, 47, 48, 50, 65, 45, 52, 50, 65, 46, 52, 53, and 12 is 65. Now not only did I add up to 65, the rows across total 65, both diagonals total 65. The 4 corners of the square, 46, 47, 57, 65. The 4 for the center of the square, 47, 49, 58, 65. If you divide this in half and look at the lower half, the 4 squares in the center of the lower half total 65, and the 4 squares in the center of the top half total 65. If you divide this into quarters, each of the 4 quarters adds up to the number 65. And last but not least, each quarter consists of upper left-hand corner, upper right-hand corner, lower left-hand corner, lower right-hand corner. The 4 upper left-hand corners total 65, the 4 upper right-hand corners total 65, the 4 lower left-hand corners total 65, and the 4 lower right-hand corners total 65. A totally useless ability, but when it sometimes entertains. About 35 years ago, I was doing an elementary school in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And after the show, the principal, now remember, this man was the principal of an elementary school, after doing that trick in my show, came up to me and said, word for word, you know, Mr. Keppel, that's really impossible. You only have 1 number memorized and made the girl in the audience pick up by telepathy, didn't you? That's a true story. He thought I could only do it with 1 number and projected the number into the little girl's mind. 100%. And I was very glad I had no children in that school. So, even those that are small, now a lot of the close magic I do, you wouldn't be able to see because you're too far away, but what before I do that, since I have a kid in the audience, and he's going to regret later that he was here, but when I do a kid, now I do this trick in all my, I used to just do it in kids, I do it everywhere now, I could just love it. If I do a kid's birthday party, I ask the kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? You get all kind of answers, but 99 out of 100 shows, you know what the first little girl says they want to be when they grow up? 99 out of 100. Veterinarian. Every show. I've made a prediction. If I said it here in front of you, I can't change it because you would see me go towards the envelope. I have a book of jobs. I asked the kids in my show, I know some boys or girls like to cook. They might grow up and be a famous chef. Some like to draw, might grow up to be a famous artist. There is a doctor here. There is a firefighter here. There is a farmer. There is a football player. There is a plumber, a police officer, a scientist. Saw Oppenheimer yesterday. 3 hours and 9 minutes. Oh. Welder, magician. Did you see there's a different job on every page? Don't all shout at once. Different job on every page. Sir, do me a favor. I'm going to go through the book backwards. You yell out when you want me to stop. All right? Here we go. Stop! He stopped me on the fireman. The fireman. Could have been any one of these jobs. He stopped me on the fireman. Would you believe before I came here today, I put a picture of the fireman in this envelope. And here he is when he was 3 months old. It's the fireman. Yeah, well, you do know one day he's going to grow up. Thank you. Back to the cards. There's one. There's two. I'm going to run my finger down the side of the deck. I would like you to please say stop. Right there? Take it. Remember it. Don't tell me what it is. You got it? Place it back anywhere you want. That's one from that side of the room. Say stop as I run my finger down the side of the deck. Stop. Right there? Take that one. Remember it. You got it? Anywhere you want. See, now, except for 4 days in my life, I've had a deck of cards in my hand every day for over 55 years. So I know a deck of cards in and out. And I knew before I even got here today what both of you would pick. What's your name? Watson. Did you bring Sherlock? This, Watson, is your card. Name it. Of? Yeah, your card. How else would you do it? Now, that's the gag. Here's the magic. 7 of hearts. Yeah, right between the 6 and the 8. Boy, you guys don't like this tricks. I ain't gonna do anymore. Oh, this is one of my 2 favorite things in the show. You picked the card. I am not in any way a graphic artist. I'm a performer artist, but not a graphic artist. I drew a picture where I thought your card looked like on the first page of the pad. Now, it's not really artistic, but you at least recognize your card. Real loud, what was your card? The 6 of spades. I drew it right inside that box with 51 others. Yeah, you laugh. Watch. And this really is a picture of your card right now. Okay, here's the story. About 5 years ago, I got a call on a Thursday afternoon in the middle of April. And the guy said, "Do you own a magic shop?" I said, "No, I just do magic." He said, "My name's Michael. I'm a dealer at the Sands Casino. But I don't do magic. I do gambling moves. I run up poker hands. I deal off the bottom of the deck." Now, here's a total stranger calling me and telling me he's a casino dealer and he deals at the bottom of the deck. And I resisted asking why, because I wanted to see where it was going. He said, "I'm looking for B-backed cards. Bicycle cards like I use have a white border. It's important for a lot of things I do because sometimes I need to have a card face up in the deck. And if those aren't completely perfectly squared, it's given away. But B cards and most casino cards, the color bleeds to the edge. Easier to cheat with those. If a crooked dealer is gonna, most people don't deal off the bottom of the deck, crooks in the casino. I do the second deal, which is dealing the second card instead of the top card. And to do it, you have to have this card off center. Well, if this card's off center, that white line gives away that it's not square. But at a distance, if there's no white line, the color bleeds, you can get away with it. So then he told me something that made the hair stand up and back of my neck, because it's the holy grail of sleight of hand. He said he deals middles. Nobody deals middles. How would you get a card out of the middle of the deck with where your fingers are? If someone's stealing off the bottom, cards are held in something called the mechanic's grip. In the mechanic's grip, the cards are shifted this way so that they're held between the base of the thumb and that finger. These fingers can get out of the way to get the bottom card. But there's really no way to get at a middle card. In my lifetime, I saw two magicians in Europe do it, but you could tell they were doing something funny. It didn't look natural. So he said, "Can I come show you?" I said, "Yes, you can." 10 minutes later, there's a knock on my front door, because I live 3 blocks from the casino. There on my porch stood a 6'3", 23-year-old Chinese kid, came and make me look like I never picked up a deck of cards in my life. He deals off the bottom, he deals off the top, he starts dealing out of the middle, and I can't catch him. And I'm considered a pretty good card guy, and if I can't catch him, the kid's phenomenal. I said, "Who taught you this?" He's some American-born Chinese. My parents divorced, was very young. I had no siblings. I threw myself into this card work. He said, "I worked in 5 casinos. Now I'm thinking, 5 casinos, 23 years old, either this kid has wanderlust, or he's traveling with a buddy, they're getting in card games, and he's dealing him pat hands and they're splitting the pot." And almost to confirm what I'm thinking, he says, "I've got to go to Philly tomorrow for a work problem." Okay, work problem. They caught this kid doing something. The next 3 weeks, this kid comes to my house 2 or 3 times a week, and every time he comes, it's something more and more incredible, but they're all game related. One night he says, "Joe, name a poker hand." I say full house. He says, "What kind?" I say kings over 7s. He said, "How many hands should I deal?" I said, "Deal 5 hands. He said, "Where do you want that full house?" I said, "Third off the dealer." He does 2 table riffle shuffles, deals out 5 hands of poker, third hand in, full house, king of. Now I'm starting to sweat. So I call my Sands at the casino. "What can you tell me about this kid?" He tells me his name, Michael, middle initial Q, Lin. Michael Q. Lin. They say, "Joe, he's the best blackjack dealers the Sands has ever had. He sometimes deals in private games in the back room at $5,000 a hand." I think, oh my God. So I start investigating. Find out the kid's mother is vice president at Syracuse University, New York. Father's an Air Force officer, Area 51. So now Saturday nights, I perform at the Spring Valley Inn outside of Bethlehem. They may keep me, except if I'm out of town performing. I perform in that restaurant every Saturday night for the past 42 years. So he says, "Joe, I want to come to Spring Valley tomorrow night, watch you work a crowd, because I've only seen you in your house." I say, "Okay." I wake up the next morning, worst pain in my life. I'm single, live alone, don't know what's wrong, call my friends, they rush me to the hospital, kidney stone. Never knew they're excruciating. I figure I'll never perform at the inn tonight, but they gave me a shot and I'm fine. I show up, The kid shows up, he's got a casino outfit on. He said, I'm working the midnight shift. I watch a couple hours, then I'm leaving. He watches me work table to table, the small diamond, the big diamond behind the bar. About 10 o'clock, he says, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I get home at midnight and the phone rings and it's him. He said, Joe, I lost my job at the Sands tonight. I said, what happened? He said, security meets me at the front door. They marched me to the president's office. The president says, Michael, we know you have legal problems. We need to temporarily suspend you to straighten it out. He said, I'd rather just quit. I said, listen, I'm feeling funny. The shot's wearing off. I'll call you tomorrow morning. I got the phone, sat there. Boy, this doesn't sound right to me. So I Googled his name on the internet. Now remember, he told me his name was Michael Q. Lynn, and he was 23. So I Googled Michael Q. Lynn, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and his name came up on abcnews.com. And it goes, Michael Q. Lynn, 19, of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, picked up by the U.S. Secret Service as part of an international counterfeiting ring responsible for passing $1 million in fake hundreds and fifties. So here this kid was part of an international counterfeiting ring. If you've ever heard of the dark web, it's deep into the internet where criminals talk, and all kind of illegal activity. Somebody in Portland, Oregon had these bills counterfeited in Uganda, pasted between Save Starving Children in Africa brochures. The guy imports the brochures, peels them apart to get the bills out, advertises the bills on the dark web. The Chinese kid sees the ad, buys them for his own use, and that's what he was doing. He was going cross-country, stay one step ahead of law. As he was dealing in casinos, he was switching the counterfeit money with the casinos claiming he was washing that money. This was like out of the sting. When they picked him up, he had driver's license and 5 different identities in the car. So the way they caught him passing a fake 50 to Starbucks out in Pittsburgh. So he goes out, they put an ankle bracelet on him, he comes back up. His dad's in Arizona, mother's in New York State. He says, Joe, can I live with you till my case comes up? I weaseled my way out of that one. He went back, he got 2.5 years at the federal penitentiary in Lewisburg and a $250,000 fine. He was a 19-year-old kid. He's out. I figure when he got out, he'd lay low, change his name. He's on Facebook with his real name. Now, he can't work in a casino because of a financial crime, but every picture you see him in, he's sitting in a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or I'm around a movie star, got married last week, and he either squirreled a lot of money away or he's conning people again. And that's a 100% true story. You can look that up. Showed up on all the major news stories, Morning Call. Yeah, Michael Q. Lynn, L-I-N. Is that a story or is that a story? Speaking of pirates, hey kid, what do you know about pirates? What do you know about pirates? They had parrots. Where? On the shoulder. No, that's a Band-Aid from a vaccination. Come on up here, kid. Stand here. Face front. What's your name?
Xavier.
Xavier? Like in the X-Men? Charles Xavier, leader of the X-Men. The bald guy with the mutants?
Yeah.
Stay there. I got some stuff to work with. Xavier, where do pirates bury their treasure?
Underground.
What do they do if the ground's too hard? You don't know? I'm going to tell you. First of all, Xavier, what's in the bucket?
Nothing.
No, you're wrong. My hand's in the bucket. Xavier, if the ground's too hard, they turn the treasure invisible to hang in here. Do you see the invisible treasure? Hey, look, kid, right in front. Look, right there. All day long, out of the air into the bucket. All day long, out of the air into the bucket. Xavier, do me a favor. Reach into the air. Grab a coin. Put it in the bucket. Grab another one in the bucket. Grab another one. Put that one in your pocket. Look at that kid. Stand in front of me, face front, chin up. Hey kid, hit your right knee. Now hit your left knee. You're empty, kid. Go on, get out of here. Give me a hand. The Allentown Society of Magicians is a chapter of the International Brother of Magicians. It's quite old. Currently, you know how the Legion has posts, and the Eagles have Eries, all the clubs have different branches, are called. In magic term, it's called rings. Ring 1, ring 2, because it refers to the Chinese linking rings. There's over 500 rings worldwide. The Allentown ring is ring 32. That's how far back it goes. It goes back to 1944. And meet once a month up at the paddock in Allentown. And there are months where we have a lecturer come in, a famous magician, or one night is devoted to card magic or coin magic or rope magic. But twice a year there's a members night where a member can do anything they want. We had a member named Vince Supan. He lived to be about 93, died about 4 or 5 years ago. And twice a year for 30 years, had to watch him do the same trick every single time. Until we didn't want to see that trick anymore. He's gone now, and I have his original piece of equipment, and I kind of do it as an honor to him, exactly the way he did it. It's called a Little Silk Wonder Demon Box. It was made by Davenport Magic in London, England. This is an original from 1956. It's in beautiful condition. The ones you get now are knockoffs from either India or China, but this is a real sturdy one with real screws and rivets, and the others just fall apart all the time. But this is how Vince did this trick. He said, when I was a boy in Atlantic City, I was on the boardwalk, and a magician had a box. It had a door in the top, a door in the back, a door in the front. You'd close the door in the front, door in the back, door in the top, snap your finger, open up, and you pull a little silk handkerchief. Well, I thought that was pretty cute. I decided I wanted one. So I went to the magic shop in the boardwalk. I said, I'm looking for a trick. He said, what trick are you looking for? You know, the little box with the door in the top, the door in the back, the door in the front. You close the door in the front, door in the back, door in the top, snap your finger, open up, and pull a little handkerchief. He said, we don't have any out front in the counter. Let me check the storeroom in the back. He came out and says, you know what? I don't have that trick with the door in the top, the door in the back, the door in the front. You close the door in the front, door in the back, door in the top, and pull out a little silk handkerchief. But I'll call Tannins. Tannins is the oldest continuous running magic shop in the country. It's in New York City. It's moved from 50th Street to 26th, 18th, and still around. So he called and said, do you have that little trick with the box with the door in the top, the door in the back, the door in the front, close the door, front door, back door, and he pull a little handkerchief? He said, we do. We have one. We'll ship it down to Atlantic City, UPS. Following when I raced in, I said, did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get what? You know, the box with the little door in the top, the door in the back, the door in the front. You close the door, front door, back door, pull, and you pull out a little silk handkerchief. He said, you know what? The truck was in an accident. The box was destroyed. So I guess I'm never ever going to get that trick with the door in the top, the door in the back, the door in the front. You close the door in the front, door in the back, door in the back, and pull out a little silk handkerchief. But I hope that one day I find one. Thank you. Here's a neat thing you might find interesting. The magic world's agog. How much time do I have? Well, I'll do another 5-10 minutes if that's okay. Can I do another couple more minutes? A family of magicians recently died where magicians went back 5 generations in their family. Father, the son, the grandfather, the great-father. So the last one died, and they called David Copperfield to come look at the stuff. So they find a box in the basement. Now, you know today everything is streaming media. But before streaming media, when you had physical media, Blu-rays, DVDs, cassette tapes, 8-tracks, records. You know, in the late 1800s, Thomas Edison invented a device that recorded people's voices on wax cylinders. Remember that? Hear that? They found 8 wax cylinders with Houdini's voice on it. No one's heard Houdini's voice in over 100 years. So now they're trying to decode those without breaking the delicate wax. But they're excited because the one box is labeled the water cell. So they think it's his introduction to doing the water cell on stage. But so we got our fingers crossed that they can do that without the wax breaking. Penn and Teller are back. They had to shut down their show for 4 months. Teller had quadruple bypass heart surgery. They were very lucky. They were doing 3 week shows in Australia. They were only home 4 days. He ended up in the hospital. But I actually know Teller before Penn met Teller. I know Teller 51 years, and Penn met him 47 years ago. When I met Teller in his day, the little one that doesn't talk, he was a high school Latin professor when I met him. He's the genius in that trio. I'm sorry, I say do it because I say it because if you who's heard of Penn and Teller? Right. When they started, that was a 3-person act. Teller's a magician, Penn's a juggler. The third guy was a musician named Christian Wire. So the act was a musician, a magician, and a juggler. They went under the name the Asparagus Valley Cultural Society. Toured for 3 years. There was an remember the old afternoon 4 o'clock TV talk show, Mike Douglas out of Philly? They were on Mike Douglas the same day as Sammy Davis Jr., and Sammy Davis got them their break in Las Vegas. And a week later, the musician made the worst career move of his life and left the act. And Elvis became world famous, and the musician never heard from again. So, some people ask me where I get my bad puns. I tell them I show. Actually, no one's ever asked me where I get any of the puns I use in my show. There's not too many papers around anymore, but I still try to look in the paper and see if there's anything I could do a trick a story about. So let me look. No, not there. Not there. About. Oh, here we go. Yesterday on I-78, there was a big tractor-trailer accident. It says here a tractor-trailer truckload full of wigs fell over. Police are still combing the highway. Combing, wigs. International news. Yesterday, 2 cruise ships collided in the Caribbean. It says here the one boat was carrying red paint. Other boat was carrying purple paint. All the passengers, marooned. Okay, look at that. Oh, crime news. They had to stop giving chocolate bars to people in Lehigh County Prison. Too many people were breaking out. You know, there is no part of the paper that's safe to read anymore. You know, even, believe it or not, even the religion page, you know, there's been some scandals in the past. You know, Jimmy Swaggart, Tammy Faye Baker. Well, you know, in Europe, you got the Trappists make the wines, the groups make the jellies. There's this little known order in Germany, in the horticulture. They bring new flowers, breed new flowers. They bred this new flower. It drove people crazy, the aroma. They were beating up little old ladies. They were kicking little kids down the steps. Nobody could solve that problem until one day, Playboy Enterprises opened a branch in that town. Just like that, the problem was solved. Joni goes to prove one thing. Hugh and only Hugh can prevent florist fryers. Those are pretty bad puns, aren't they? In that case, I'll just put them back. Okay, here's something you can all participate with if you can. Go show why the hand is quicker than the eye. Everybody put their hands out like this. Hands out. Turn them upside down. Cross them right over left. And lick your fingers. Now listen to me carefully. Move your little fingers. Move your thumbs. Move your ring finger. As they want the ring on it. But last time the thumb. Now look, we're mirror image here, right? Everybody go like this. Two more things. I am going to do one piece of traditional sleight of hand. I have fun with this, but I love this. Make sure there's only 4 cards there, please. Okay? Short sleeves. 4 aces. If I very slowly, no tricky moves, take the ace of spades and put it face up, does it change how many cards are there? Do you see the ace of spades? Do you see the corner sticking out from the side? Little shake changes from the ace of spades to the ace of diamonds. I'll do that again. You turn the diamond face down, you give them a twist to the right, the center of the club turns over. The heart's the tough one. Sometimes the heart doesn't go. I didn't do it. Well, I don't know which one this. What this do a twist? First, this. All face down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Little shake. Another ace. That's the easy part. I'm going to do this at a distance. Pull up one hand, just like that. Pull up one hand like that. Perfect. What is this? Ace of diamond. What's the name of the other red ace? This one here. The heart. Ace of hearts is going over here. Hold that. Would you be impressed if I can make that heart and diamond change hands without touching them? Which is the heart, which is the diamond? Yeah. And that's the diamond? No, this is the heart, this is the diamond. Hold them up, show everybody.
Oh.
Turn yours over. Yeah, that's nice. Before I do my final routine, are there any questions from anybody? I'll answer anything except how do you do such and such a trick. I'll take away my union card. But about anyone they've ever seen magic-wise, or no? Kid, no question? Nothing? Okay. What I did with you is the second oldest trick in magic. It's called the Miser's Dream. This is the oldest trick in magic. Oh, wait, I forgot something really, really neat. Because I did a couple things out of order. Sir, would you help me? Stand on my left right there. I mentioned the little cards. I forgot I got some real big ones. What's your name? Steve. Steve, I have a big plastic card here. You'll notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 backs. There are, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fronts. Steve, the Queen of Hearts is in the middle, so if you clip the middle card, it clips that Queen of Hearts. Steve, take the close position. I'm going to try to fool him by spinning his while faces me. Steve, I want you to clip the card and think it's the Queen of Hearts. Now we know, Steve, that's the 10 of clubs. Now you shouldn't be confused. This is only a picture of a card. If I spin it, it's to try confusion. If I take the close and clip the card in the middle, it clips that Queen of Hearts. So it's Steve. I'll give you another test here with a spin and try to confuse you. Clip the card and think it's the Queen of Hearts. No, that's still the 10 of clubs. See, the problem is the cards aren't big enough. We'll use even bigger cards. Let me put this behind here. Actually, it's a little crowded. I'll leave it here. Steve, I'll take that close to. Because if you can't find the Queen now, it's time for an eye test. Because I have here a big Queen of Hearts. A big King of Clubs. A second King of Clubs. What is this card? It is in the middle. Closest to Steve, a King of Clubs. An identical king on the side closest to me. Steve, watch carefully. That's 1. That's 2. Now, Steve, don't touch the card. The spin's a little shaky. But just point at it when you think it's the Queen of Hearts. Closest to me, no, Steve, that's the King of Clubs. Steve, this is a King of Clubs. I told you the Queen of Hearts is always in the middle. Maybe I move him too many times. I won't move him so much. Once again, what is this card?
Queen of Hearts.
It's in the middle. Closest to Steve, a King of Clubs. An identical king on the side closest to me. Now, Steve, watch. Only going to move one time. Steve, where's the Queen of Hearts?
Middle.
In the middle. No, Steve, that's the King of Clubs. Steve, this is the King of Clubs. Steve, the Queen of Hearts is over here. Maybe there's just too many cards, we'll get rid of one. Final time, what is this card? It's on in towards Steve. King of clubs in the middle. Steve, final time. Where's the Queen of Hearts? No, Steve, that's the King of clubs. Steve, this is the King of clubs. This. Now I'll do the finale. The Chinese linking rings. What I brought with the date. I use coat hangers. Who knows where coat hangers come from? No, they come from the closet. When they're little, they start out as paper clips and grow up to be coat hangers. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first strange steamboat hangers. They grow in the closet. The second is this. Did you ever reach into the closet in a hurry and try to take out just one? Sometimes it's next to impossible. Sometimes they're tangled so badly, you must think they're actually linked. Of course, that doesn't happen in real life. That only happens in magic. And yet, when you have two badly tangled, can't come apart, sometimes they just pass right through each other. Now, I've discovered the reason this works. And the reason this works is all coat hangers have a soft spot. If you find the soft spot of a hanger, you can knock one right through. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3, just like that. Now, once you have two hangers linked like this, I discovered a pretty way to take them apart. You hold two linked hangers by the corner, you give them 3 shakes. On the 3rd shake, the outer hanger melts. It dematerializes, passes through the upper hanger and falls to the rug. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. Falls. Just comes right there. Lands in the pass. Oh, that's backwards. I'm going to give them apart, give them a hit like that and go like that. I know we'll trouble with modern sculpture. How about the famous 3-on-1? Equally impressive, the famous 1-on-3s. Once you have hangers linked like this, to get them apart, you start with 2 on this side and 1 on, oh, it's backwards. It's actually 2 on that side. 1 on, I forgot you got to do magical things at the count of 3. To get the first hanger off, it's 1, 2, 3. Remove the second, give it a little twist, pulls off number 2. Which brings me back to a position I was at close to the beginning of the trick. And remember when you have 2 hangers linked together, to get them apart, give them a little twist, they pass right through it. A little turn, they dematerialize. You know, most magicians would need a magic word of trouble, but not me. I use the famous hacksaw method. This is where you get to see very expensive tricks sawn into bits, because the free lower hanger, we take the saw and make a small incision in the upper left-hand corner. Makes a space big enough to move the lower hanger. So let's take the saw right here, make a hole. I know, actually take the hanger, hang it over the hacksaw, puts the hacksaw on that side and the hanger on, now I've got to actually take the hanger, bring it around in front like that. How's that look, better? No? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a part trick I never figured out how to do. I was going to get these apart, need to take it home, unscrew a little wing nut down here at the bottom. First of all, you've been very nice audience, so I hope you enjoyed the magic. Secondly, I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful summer we're having. Hope I come back some other time with different tricks. Right now, I'm going to go home and try to get these things apart. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, for coming. That was really amazing. He did really some amazing things that we've never seen before. Let's give him another hand of applause. Thank you.
You want one bad pun as an encore?
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask anybody to come up. Just, I'll ask a question. Are there any fishermen here? Any fishermen? Not one fisherman in the whole group? I'll give you a job anyway. At the end of the joke, say, That must have been a really big fish. You got it? Scottish fisherman and his wife had trouble having kids. They tried for years. They finally have 2 twin boys, but they can't think what to name them. They say, we'll name them after their personality. They were identical twins, very little difference in their personality. It wasn't until they were 5 years old they realized when the boys were down by the ocean, the one boy faced towards the ocean. The other boy passed away from the ocean. And if they tried to get him to revert, they immediately changed back. One towards, one away. They said, well, name these boys towards and away. Well, they grow up. The father wants to teach them to be fishermen, so they go out to sea. They don't come back that night. A day goes by, a week, a month, 3 years go by. She thinks, I've lost my whole family at sea. One day she's sitting at the kitchen table, and there comes her husband up from the docks. But the boys nowhere were seen. She goes, Papa, where are the boys? Mom, I got to tell you, the first night on that boat, Towards hooked the fish. He fought that fish day and night. 3 nights, 3 days. He didn't eat, he didn't sleep, he didn't drink. The 4th morning, that fish pulled Towards overboard. We never saw him again. You should have seen the one that got away. You should have seen the one that got away. You'll tell it.